So the significant change since 9/11 is the creation of this Homeland Security enterprise and the architecture that goes with it. And it is very different than national security, although it's part of it. National security is top-down, centralized, command and control. It's about unity of command. Homeland Security is bottom-up, it's distributed, it's about unity of effort. We move from a national security paradigm of need to know to a Homeland Security paradigm of need to share or duty to share. So these are very different models. And on the bottom-up model, which is what Homeland Security is all about, it's a responsibility, it's a shared responsibility. Homeland Security believes that in the partnership and actions of each of us, we secure the nation for all of us. Has that had a positive effect? Yeah, not only is it a positive, but it's a necessary effect. The necessary effect is that people in communities take a role in protecting themselves. And we've seen it, in high-profile cases and low-profile cases. The Times Square bomber was identified by a street vendor. Individuals taking a role in their own security, bringing suspicious activity to local law enforcement so that they can understand what the threats are. In responding to catastrophe and disasters, communities being prepared make it possible for resources to be applied to those who are in more need, more vulnerable, because those who are prepared are able to take care of themselves. So this is a positive effect. So I think initially we probably naturally overreached in some regards of security because we didn't have the tools or the capability to understand the threat. So we had to use broader strokes in which we tried to address what the threat was. But as the intelligence got better, as our information sharing got better, as people were able to more readily and understand the threat on a nuanced level, I think we have gotten better at doing what's called risk-based security. And today the model is what's called risk segmentation. And everybody knows and appreciates, for example, TSA pre-check or global entry. That's the model. It's saying, let's identify those who are known or trusted travelers, in this case. Let's identify the low-risk individuals, communities, etc. Let's take those people out of the equation, or those organizations, or whatever. And we're left with the things that we know less about, right? So we take the low risk out, high risk we've identified, so they're already denied, and you're just left with ability to focus your resources on the ones you're just not sure of. That's smart security, and that's a better than where we were possibly overreaching by necessity, frankly. I think it's reprehensible for two reasons. One, let's not play politics with national security. We should not be playing with the safety and security of the American public and the communities across the nation. If you want to play politics, if you want to address policy issues, there's a proper form for that. It's called the authorization bills. In the authorization bills, grand policy debates take shape and they're voted on. DHS has yet to have an authorization bill passed in its time in existence. If Congress wants to have a debate about how DHS should manage its resources, fund its resources, what policy, that debate goes in the authorization bill. The appropriation bill is about how much resources go, not about policy issues such as whether we should do comprehensive immigration reform. So I find it, I put the blame on Congress on this. So there's two camps on this. I mean, there's the camp which is a camp that's very technical and legal. I mean, you are talking about unlawful activity that must be addressed. And in order for that to have its appropriate footing, it needs to be defined under the law. So terminology matters in that regard. From a response perspective, though, not from a law enforcement, prosecution, judicial perspective, from a response perspective, the real thing is preventing violence. And in that regard, it's irrelevant what it's called. Law enforcement, cops, first responders are agnostic as to what it is. They want to stop it from happening, they want to stop mass violence, and they want to mitigate it as soon as it starts happening. And so the terminology doesn't matter when you're in the heat of the moment. It matters for lawful prosecutions and things like that. It's not clear that they are, and I think there's a couple of reasons for that. One is it's not clear that everyone understands and appreciates what Homeland Security is. They tend to just experience it either through a TSA interaction or maybe sometimes they hear on the news about something that Secret Service did or the Coast Guard, but they don't understand what is Homeland Security. And I can say what it is in a simple sentence. It's a policy framework. It's a vision of a safe, secure, and resilient homeland where American interests, aspirations, and way of life can thrive. And if people take a little bit of time to understand what the goal of Homeland Security is and what the tools are to help get there, I think we'll have a much more vibrant debate than the tactics we have and some of the policies that are in place that get lost in political debates.